Let's cut the chase. You want to save your first £100,000? I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, step by step and for free. And yes, even if you're starting with absolutely nothing. Now get it, £100,000 sound really massive, maybe even impossible, but here's the brutal truth. Most people never save that much money because they never start and they don't even know how. But you are different. You clicked on this video, which means you're already ahead of 90% of the people who are still out there complaining about being broke. So sit tight for the next 15 minutes and I guarantee this is gonna completely shift the way you think about money. And listen, since this advice won't even cost you a penny, the least you can do is to smash the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, because I'm gonna break it all down for you, and after that it's on you to make it happen. Hi, my name is Fizan. I'm a Big Four qualified chartered accountant and I'm an ex-financial consultant at the Big Four firms in London. Alright, let's talk numbers, because here's the truth. Most people never save £100,000 because they never define what it actually takes to get there. They just think, yeah, I'd love to get to 100K one day, but one day isn't really a plan. It's a fantasy. So let's turn this into a real goal. Pick a deadline. Let's say you want £100,000 in 3 years. Cool. That means you need about £2,700 a month, £641 a week, £91 a day, and £3.79 an hour. Now look at that last number again, £3.79 an hour. That's less than what you spend on a coffee, less than that random Amazon order you forgot about. Now all of a sudden, £100,000 doesn't seem so impossible, right? Now I know some of you are thinking there's no bloody way I can save that much, and fair enough, but here's the trick. Adjust that timeline. If 3 years feel too aggressive for you, stretch it to 4 or 5 or even 6 years, because £45 a day invested over 5 years for a 10% return in the stock market, now that's realistic. And let's be real, most people lose £45 a day without even noticing. Think about it, like those overpriced cocktails, takeaways because you were too tired to cook, or those random subscriptions we forgot about. Yeah, all of that gone down the gutter. The difference between staying broke and financially free is often small decisions made on a daily basis. Now that you've got your numbers and your timeline set, it's time for step 2. This might sound obvious, but most people fail at saving money because they never begin. I've seen it so many times. Someone's had a solid financial plan or a goal, gets all hyped up and prepare that fancy Excel spreadsheet, and then does nothing about it. Why? Because all of a sudden there's always a reason to wait. I'll start next month after Easter, or I'll start immediately after I get that boiler fixed, or my mate's getting married. You know how it is. And here's the problem. The kind of person who delays is usually the kind of person who never actually starts in the first place. They push it back again and again and again until one day they wake up 10 years older, still broke and still stuck. So if you actually want to succeed, here's the secret. Start immediately, like start right now, even if it's as tiny as £1, because your motivation is at its peak when you first get excited about an idea. That initial energy, it fades really fast, but if you act on it straight away and turn it into a habit, you'll be miles ahead of everybody else who are still thinking and waiting for the right time. So even if you're just saving, let's say 10 quid a day, opening that investment account or canceling that pointless subscription, do something like literally right now. Once you build the momentum, it becomes way easy to keep it going. And now that you're in the motion, it's time for step 3. That is where the real magic happens. Alright, this is where things are gonna get a bit serious. If you skip this step, I promise saving money is gonna feel like trying to fill a bucket with a hole. And before you even roll those eyes, this isn't about living on toast and beans or living like a monk. It's about taking control of your finances. So first things first, you gotta track your money. Set up a free account on a money tracking app that links all your accounts and credit cards into one place. You can use Monzo, Emma, or Plum, or whatever. This gives you a real-time look at where your money is actually going. And trust me, that first reality check is an eye-opener, because once you see those numbers, you'll realize you're probably wasting hundreds every month without even noticing. Look at this. The average UK spender bleeds cash on things that don't actually need. Have a look at this. £728 a year on coffee. £1,000 a year on eating out, about £1,200 a year on clothes, £796 a year on alcohol, £500 a year on unused subscriptions. So that's about £4,200 a year that could be going straight into your savings without even making any painful sacrifices. And that's before we even get into those money saving hacks coming next. So now that we've cleared up your spending, it's time to supercharge your budget in the next step. Alright, this step is a game changer, not because it's complicated, but because it's ridiculously simple. Track your spendings for the next 30 days and cut back on anything you don't really need. That's it, no fancy tricks, simple common sense. A study has shown that there are 10 key areas where people can cut back the easiest. That's eating out, alcohol, pints at the pub versus a 12-pound crate from Tesco's. Do your maths. Credit card interest, clothes, those just-in-case jumpers, saving gas and electricity, smoking, those impulse purchases, convenient spending, paying £3 extra for delivery because you can't be bothered to collect, and the lottery. Might as well just set fire to your Fiverr. Think about it. Almost all of these are well within your control. For example, cooking at home instead of getting a takeaway can save you a fortune. If you're out, skip the overpriced drinks at the bar and buy them from Asda for a fraction of a cost. And whatever you do, don't pay interest on those credit cards. That's handing free money to the banks. And the best part, you don't even have to sacrifice much. These are just minor tweaks that could save you hundreds every single month. But listen, I get it. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and besides, what's the point of saving money if you can't ever go out, travel, or treat yourself? So if cutting back sounds too restrictive and you still want to save more, I have a strategy called How I Can Get the Same Thing for Less. Let's talk car insurance for a second. Be honest, when was the last time you actually shopped around? Because I promise you, a quick search on a comparison website, a 10 minutes phone call, and boom, you've just knocked £300 off your yearly bill. And this isn't just about car insurance. It applies to almost everything like broadbands, mobile bills, energy providers. Companies bank on you being too lazy to switch. That's why new customers get better deals than loyal ones. So don't be loyal to corporations, be loyal to your wallet. I'll give you an example. My mate was paying about 60 quid a month for broadband because he'd been with the same provider for years. One quick call and all of a sudden they're offering him a deal for £40 a month. Same speed, same service, just less money leaving his bank account. And guess what? He still switched broadbands and got an offer for £28 a month for 2 years with another provider. That's £768 saved in 2 years. That's ridiculous. So you see what I mean? Corporations will happily overcharge you unless you push them back, and this goes for pretty much every other expense. Ring up your internet provider and ask for a better deal. If they say no, just switch. Use cashback sites for things you were gonna buy anyway. That's literally free money. Take advantage of credit card rewards. Why do you want to pay for full flights when points can cover them? Then wait for Boxing Day and stock up on clothes for the whole year. Seriously, the discounts are massive. And listen, you don't have to be dropping cash at Ralph Lauren or Burberry just to look good. I've seen my mates spending £500 at Hollister and still be able to walk away with everything they need for summers and winters. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Yeah, I'd rather just make more money, and I get that, but here's the truth. Cutting unnecessary costs is the easiest and fastest way to get ahead financially. Why? Because it's money you don't have to work for. It's just money you have to stop throwing away. Think about it. Every time you earn more money, you also rack up more expenses, right? Travel, wear and tear on your car, insurance, fuel, and the big one, taxes. By the time all that's taken out, you're probably only keeping 75p out of every £1 you earn. Put that in perspective, if you spend £50 on a meal out, you actually need to earn about £67 before tax just to afford it. But if you skip the meal altogether, that's £50 still in your pocket. No extra effort required. And that's just the start. There's another strategy that's even more powerful when it comes to saving money, and that's paying yourself first. Alright, this step is what separates the financially free from forever broke. Most people do it completely backwards. They get paid, they cover their bills, enjoy a few night outs and buy something really nice and then save whatever is left. But here's the shift. Rich people don't save what's left, they spend what's left after saving. So what you need to do is the moment your paycheck lands, an automatic transfer should send a set percentage straight to your savings or investments, and then whatever is left, that's what you live on. This isn't about saving if there is anything left, it's about making savings non-negotiable. Now let's be real, most people don't have an income problem, they have a spending problem because 28% of people earning £50,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck in the UK. That sounds really bad, but guess what? That same 26% applies to people earning £100,000 as well. This is called lifestyle inflation. The more you earn, the more you spend. Someone earning £50,000 would spend £50,000. Someone earning £100,000 is going to spend £100,000. And someone earning 200 grand is gonna spend 200 grand, and it never stops unless you actively save the difference. And if you actually want to keep more of your money, you need to take the decision out of your hands. So you have to set up an automatic transfer the second your paycheck hits your account. Start small if you have to. Even £50 a month is better than £0. Increase it gradually. As your income grows, so should your savings, and keep it out of sight. Move it to a separate account or investment so you're not tempted to dip into it. I've got 6 more strategies that you can use to begin saving your 100 grand. Let's talk about housing, because for most people, it's the biggest money drain. If you can reduce this cost, you'll save faster than ever. I get it, cutting housing costs isn't easy, but it's not impossible either. Here's what you can do. If you rent your spare room, this could bring in an extra £7,500 tax-free money under rent room relief. Negotiate your rent. When your lease is up, ask for a lower rate. Landlords would rather have a good tenant rather than risking their property vacant. Move to a slightly cheaper area. If you live in zone 3 in London, move to zone 4 or 5. If you can shave even £20 a day off your housing costs, that's £600 a month, money that could be saved or invested instead of dissipating on rents and bills. Did you know owning and maintaining a car in the UK isn't cheap, but with some strategic moves, you can significantly cut these expenses. So on average, UK drivers spend about £300 to £400 a month on car finance payments. The average annual car insurance premium stands about £834, equating to about 70 quid a month. Fuel and maintenance costs vary, but it's not uncommon for drivers to spend about an additional £150 a month on running costs, and then there is road tax. Altogether, many drivers are shelling out about £500 a month just to keep their cars on the road. So unless you genuinely need a flashy car for work, just buy something really cheap, reliable and fuel efficient, then drive it until it won't work anymore. And on top of that, check your mileage with your insurance provider. You might be overpaying on your premium. Shop around for car insurance. Most people never do it, and it costs them a lot. Ditch your car entirely if you can use public transport or cycle. It could save you hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. Even just downsizing your car or switching to something more economical could save you about £200 a month, all by making these small, simple changes. Let's talk taxes, because whether you like it or not, they're one of your biggest expenses, yet most people fail to take advantage of legal ways to reduce them. The average UK worker pays around 20 to 40% in taxes, and if you earn over £100,000, you lose your tax-free allowance, meaning you pay even more tax. That is why it's really critical to know how the system works. Make the most of tax-free accounts like ISAs. You gotta claim all eligible deductions, especially if you're self-employed, and consider hiring a good accountant. Yes, it costs money, but if they save you thousands, it's really worth it. In some cases, a good accountant could save you hundreds, even thousands every year, and that's money that stays in your pocket instead of going to HMRC. Let's talk about food. On average, UK household spends about £63 a week on food and non-alcoholic beverages, totaling about £3,300 annually. A significant portion of this goes to takeaways and dine-outs, with average household allocating about £25 weekly. or 1,300 pounds every year to these conveniences. So if you want to cut back, meal prep and cook in batches to save time and money, limit eating out and reserve takeaways and restaurants for special occasions, then buy in bulk, like purchase staples in larger quantities and freeze portions to reduce waste. Even cutting back just £5 a day on unnecessary spending adds up to 150 pounds a month, and once you get into the habit, you'll start spotting other small changes that lead to big savings. Right, we got to talk about this. In 2024, the average credit card balance per UK household was about £2,500, and with interest rates hovering around 24%, that's £633 a year gone. So here's the plan: cut back wherever you can, then throw everything extra at your highest interest debt first. Once that's gone, move on to the next one. And here's the best part: once your debt is paid off, that money is yours. Instead of handing it to the banks, you can save it to invest it or spend it on things that actually matter. But until you get to that point, paying off the highest interest debt should be your absolute priority, because no investment will consistently beat losing 24% a year. Next is clothes. Let's be real. How much do you actually wear from your wardrobe? The average person in the UK spends around £873 a year on clothes. But if you take a look at your wardrobe, I bet you rotate the same few outfits 90% of the time, while the rest just sits there collecting dust. That means you probably don't need to be shopping as much as you do. And if you cut back even just a little, you could be saving anywhere from £30 to £100 a month, depending on your spending habits. It's not about never buying clothes, it's about being really smart, sticking to what you actually wear and not spending for the sake of it. So the next time you're about to buy something new, ask yourself, do I actually need this, or will it end up forgotten in a month? A little bit of self-awareness can save you hundreds a year effortlessly. Now, what if I told you there's another way to save a ton of money without cutting back on anything? Well, there is. It's to earn more. Now, I know some of what you're gonna say is start a side hustle, but honestly, your best shot at making more money right now is maximizing your income at your current job. Can you work extra hours, take on more responsibility, push for a promotion, negotiate a higher salary, find ways to add more value to the company? These are all great ways to boost your income without ever changing jobs. But of course, not everybody wanna work more hours, and that's fair. So the next best move is to switch jobs. Studies have shown that hoppers earn 35% more over 3 years compared to those who stay put and never switch jobs. That means if you're making £60,000 now, there's a real chance you could be earning £81,000 in a few years just by making smart, strategic career moves and saving that difference. Sometimes the fastest way to save money isn't by spending less, it's by earning more. And finally, if you're really serious about saving more, you could always pick up a part-time job on the side. It doesn't have to be glamorous, it doesn't need to pay a fortune, but if you've got free time in the evenings, weekends or nights, it's worth seeing what's out there. Even if you're only making £15 an hour after tax, just 2 hours a day could add up to an extra £10,000 a year without changing anything else in your life. And here's the best part: as you build skills and experience, your earning potential only goes up. So let's talk about actually hitting that £100,000 saving goal. There's one more strategy that makes saving so much faster, and that is investing. Now, I'll be the first one to admit short-term returns are unpredictable, but historically the S&P 500 has averaged around 10% a year over the last century. So let's break this down. To hit 100 grand in 3 years, you'd need to invest about £2,400 a month. Over 4 years, that drops to about £1,700 a month, or about £57 a day. And over 5 years, about £1,300 a month, or £48 a day. And over 6 years, it's just £1,000 a month, or £35 a day. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. Once you reach that first £100,000, your money starts compounding, and after that, your wealth starts growing without you even lifting a finger. Just imagine £100,000 invested at 8% for 30 years turn into £1 million. Yeah, I know sticking to that is not that easy, but it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be possible. The key is to start small, be consistent, and let it build. So if you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps more than you know. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.